Hello and welcome to Billy Ho Sports. Heading over to Gulfstream Park to clean up the rest of the stakes races for the Pegasus World Cup, mainly the turf for the males and the Philly Mare turf. I've already released my preview on the main event, so be sure to check that one out. This is going to be a deep dive into the fillies and mares along with the turf. Like I said, you can always find videos like this one and many others on my playlists. Just remember, sub to the channel, smash the like button, hit the notification bell. Notification bell is important because then that way you always find out when I've got new releases coming out. So anyway, Gulfstream Park this weekend, we're talking two different turf races. And being in Hollywood, California, right there on the coast, it's Florida. There's always a chance for rain. So these races could be pulled off the turf. Then all bets are off. So we're just going to proceed like I think there's a slight chance, but there's always a slight chance of rain at Gulfstream. So we're just going to proceed like they're going to be on the turf and we're going to roll from there. So we're going to jump right into the past performances. And then along the way, I'm going to show you a few race replays of some significance. So let's get it started. Okay, race 12 is the mile and an eighth turf for the males for open for 4-year-olds and upwards, obviously, because we do have a lady in the house. So we'll get to her shortly. We're going to start with Atone is back for trainer Mike Maker. When I look at these past performances, I always try to pop up in my search. I just popped a GP up there so I could get the races highlighted, and it shows you everywhere Gulfstream Park GPs. So that's just a little tip that I like to do to help me get to stuff faster, so I don't have to go rummaging through past performances to find where if they've raced at this track or how they did. So anyway, on to Atone, Mike Maker, and jockey Oyson Murphy, last year's winner of this race, was recently not able to keep up in the turf mile at Keeneland back in October. Got beat up pretty good there. Took a break, came back in December at Gulfstream, going just a mile and finished third, and was gaining some ground. So the added distance should be just fine. Not really showing that form that he had in last year's win when he ran a 102 Brisnet speed figure. He's in the 80s, in the mid and low 90s is the best he's done in the since August basically. So that leads me over to one of my sleepers, Jerry the Nipper. Todd Pletcher, trainer. Jose Ortiz will ride, adding blinkers, which is important. Todd Pletcher's off to a pretty good start in 2024. His barn has 4 wins and 14 starts on the turf. Now, this one here, Jerry the Nipper ran in this Fort Lauderdale Derby back just December 30th. Was a solid effort. Third place, was bumped and had to check back, had some really serious traffic issues on the inside rail, had it set all the way back several lengths and then recharged and came down the stretch to finish a strong third. So I kind of like that effort out of him. So that's why I put him in a sleeper category. Next up is going to be one of our main top contenders, Integration. Kind of a late blooming 4-year-old by Shug McGahee. 3 for 3 in his brief career, recently winning the Hill Prince Stakes, going a mile and an eighth, Aqueduct Turf. He had back-to-back, I noticed, fast pace setups early on, plus 13, plus 15, pretty quick to set up his late push. And he won by 5 going away in this one. So I don't know if he'll see that again. It's possible, but I don't know that the pace really matters to him all that much because he did win by 6 going at a much slower pace when he broke his maiden. Just a really good all-around horse so far. So we will be looking at this impressive one, drawing a favorable post as well. So definitely in my top win contender list. And the horse he ran second to him I'm very busy. Trainer Chad Brown, Irad Ortiz aboard. Integration, actually, I went back and watched this replay. Integration had the drop on him around the turn. I'm very busy, was a bit on the inside and did look like he had to wait just an extra tick or two to for the opening that he needed, and then started closing ground, but still was no match for the winner Integration, because Integration drew off convincingly toward the end. So I do believe I would give the edge definitely to Integration. Chad Brown, if you remember last season, dominated turf races. He was winning at like 23% clip. Not so much in 2024 so far. He's off to a very slow start. One win, I believe, in like 16 starts on turf so far this year. He does get Irad Ortiz on the mount, which Irad has won this race in 3 years in a row, 4 out of 5. So he's no stranger to dominating in this event. Number 5, Webslinger, one of my favorite horses to win this event. He is trained by Mark Cassey. Jockey switched to Easy Eddie Zayas, stepping up nicely in the grade one competition over his last several. Second place, third place. Second place just missed by a neck to program trading in the Hollywood, or the Hollywood Derby. I'm sorry, Del Mar. Ken Sucker can flat out close. So I'm definitely liking his chances to get after it in this race, to pull the upset at a nice price. 15-1 morning line odds, I think, is definite value for a fifth in prime power. But this one was really peaking in the middle of the summer when he won the Audubon. So moving on, King Max does have a second, just missed to main event in that Fort Lauderdale we talked about, went off at 17.5-1. But I think it's going to be a monster step forward for Jorge Delgado and David Egan to get anything here. So I'm going to pass most likely. Adamo is Chad Brown's other entry. Flavian Pratt aboard. Did have some 100 Brisnet numbers down here, but not really all that great results. Arlington Million could have done a better job there. The 2 third place finishes, obviously the Breeders' Cup Turf, just in over his head there. But I think it's going to take a career effort for this horse to win this race for Chad Brown. So I'm likely going to leave it without this one out. Masterpiece cutting back to 9 furlongs, but really doesn't appear to like that distance. Stone Closer does better with, mile and a quarter and further. So I'm going to pass there. Warm Heart, the filly, shipper. Aiden O'Brien, top-notch number 1 trainer from Europe. Ryan Moore, jockey, very underrated in his own right. Chips in this week. Just got her feet on the track just a day or two ago, I think. Something of that nature, to run around a little bit and check out the surface. I don't know about the travel. That he said that she ships and travels very well and very comfortable, so that's fine. But missed by a neck in the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf to Inspiral. But I do believe that she had a ground saving trip inside. But it would be foolish to say she doesn't have a chance to win this race. So she'll be on my radar. And then we have Cheryl Spite. Seems to be better at a mile than this distance, so I'm probably going to pass there. And let's see, main event. I believe front running winner of the Fort Lauderdale Stakes could use that speed to offset this outside post position and get out there and get loose, and might be kind of hard to catch for trainer George Weaver. Javier Castellano aboard. So if he can get out, set a reasonable pace, could be a sleeper. So keep an eye on that one. Catnip is the 12 horse. Will probably go overlooked, most likely. Michael Stidham, 22% when bringing in a horse off 90 days plus layoff. Might improve at the shorter distance. Got a 101 turf in the United Nation Grade 1, so it's no slouch by any means. So that might be a sleeper on the radar, but the outside post does definitely hurt. Will be tough to get out and not avoid a wide trip around the first turn. Either of these also eligibles, Grand Sonata, Anglophile, draw in. I'm not really hip on. More to Grand Sonata. If Grand Sonata does draw in, Todd Pletcher, Tyler Gaffleone. Obviously, Gaffleone won this race in the I said that Irad had won it 4 out of 5 years. I'm sorry. And then the other year was Tyler Gaffleone won it. So he's no stranger to the big turf races. Um, so to sum things up on this one, I would have to say that we'll go down here and take a look. We don't really have this kind of route race doesn't show up a lot, but it is. I think that the track bias is a little bit more to the early. It's either early or late closing. So one way or the other. But Webslinger is listed up here up high, and that's who I kind of like for the experience wise. But I like integration also. So those two are right there neck and neck. Jerry the Nipper adding blinkers, so I think they'll take a more aggressive approach. I like the inside post position. I'm very busy as looking to jumpstart Chad Brown's season, so he's a possible play underneath. Warm Heart should be competitive, but all that travel is a concern. So maybe an exotic use. And what I'm thinking is something along the lines, and we'll break off here and go over some bets. So what I'm thinking here is you can see my picks in the back. Something along the lines of a 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, spread it out for race 12, and maybe a pick 5, pick 3, pick 4 wager pool is where I'm going to use those 5 horses. I think it's a good race to spread. Lots of contenders, lots of good opportunities there for some value. But I do like Webslinger for the win, and the money back specials that offered by TVG. I will probably place my win bet there. So moving on, filly and mare turf. We're going to go 1.1 miles for the ladies. Let's share the screen and check it out. Okay, Cairo Consort, I'm sorry, was fourth place finish, December 23rd, Gulfstream, Tropical Park Oaks. That was her first start in 7.5 months. Probably needed that effort. Has a strong chance to improve, I would say, making her 4-year-old debut. She does have grade 1 credibility down here in in her juvenile years. So second place in the Natalma back in the day at Woodbine. So good finishing speed. Ryan Moore is definitely an underrated jockey. So worth a look, I would say. Maybe not on my personal radar, but definitely worth a look in exotics. Eligible and improved in the second start. 24% trainer for Todd Pletcher. Can't go wrong there. So Chili Flag, I've heard a little bit of buzz about, but I'm not really feeling this one. Moving up in class and the speed just isn't there for me. I'm looking at more of at least a 93 to 97 Brisnet number. You know, this one ran a 90. So I'm looking down here at like accomplished girl. It's got 92s, 94s, 95s. That's more in line of what I'm looking for. Accomplished girl. Once again, stretching out for Safi Joseph Jr. Eddie Zahas aboard was pushing it 5.5, 6.5, went a mile, getting closer and closer. So it's possible she could pop. Her tactical speed could get a jump on the closers coming home. So keep an eye on that one. Star Fortress, definitely a main contender. Got some good class, dominant 10-length romp in her U.S. debut in the grade 3 Cardinal Stakes at Churchill Downs. Uh, Now the field she faced wasn't really all like a super field or anything like that, but it was solid enough. And the 10-length romp was definitely impressive. So I can't complain. It's not going to be on my radar. I do like Sherry DeVoe. I've been on record saying how good of a trainer I think she is, especially with turf horses, fillies, in particular. Louis Saez aboard. He's no joke either, obviously. Good, impressive closing speed there. Full count, Felicia. Eh. Won the grade 3 Swanee River. Nice inside rail trip. I think there are better choices here, though. Only got an 83 rating speed wise on that race, even though she won. 91, 98. She does have some good. This all along back here at Pimlico on the mile and an eighth, good turf. That's the kind of speed rating you want to see, 98. So if she gets back to that, uh, could be dangerous for Brittany Russell, up and comer. Ruby Nell, I'm sorry. Should be Richard Mandela's top choice here. Frankie Dettori on the mount. And a strong contender, 98 Brisnet speed figure she displayed in this Lady Shamrock rolling to victory. And all the upper mid to upper 90s straight, most consistent horse, I think, maybe in the field. So makes her dangerous on the front end with the early speed. Will she make the? I think it's going to be a bit of a jump in class because she did run in the grade 1 matriarch, but just not as good, 5th place. So but does get maybe a slight jockey upgrade in Frankie Dettorio. Ruby Nell on my radar, obviously. Fluffy Socks, another one just missed in the grade 1 matriarch, gets Irad Ortiz rolling it back. This could be Chad Brown's winner as far as these turf races go. Out of the 2 races that I cover, this could be his best opportunity to win, I do believe. Just missed by a head over in that matriarch, like I said. Irad Ortiz is hot, 10 wins in the last 7 days. So definitely one of the fastest turf speeds out there. And then next up, you've got Queen Goddess, your defending champion. And she is coming off her worst career finish, technically, in that matriarch. But she was really only about, less than 4 lengths from the lead, even though she finished 9th place. So it wasn't as bad as it looks on paper. Her speed and run style puts her right in the mix here to defend her title. Jockey Tyler Gaffalione, no stranger to winning big turf races, plenty of Breeders' Cup turf wins to boot. In addition, he rides very well on the Gulfstream turf. So Queen Goddess is going to be on my ticket. And Didia, or Didia, however you pronounce it, I pronounce it Didia. Didn't fare well in the Philly Mare turf against Inspiral. Warmheart did run that second, but she's defecting over to the main race. So that opens the door up, I do believe, for Didia, who does nothing but win on the other races. On this, had this 1 second place loss to market segmentation in the grade 1 New York. So that was going a mile and a quarter. I think she's all over this one. Couple of 100 Brisnet speed ratings. The upgrade to Jose Ortiz at jockey, I think, is going to make the difference here. And if she's 6-1 morning line, I like that. First in prime power, classy horse. So that's going to be my probably win bet. No interest in Sister Luann. Recent speed figures well below par. Mission of Joy is an interesting one for Grand Motion. Johnny V aboard. I'll get to him in a second. She finished 3rd behind Maud in the Queen Elizabeth II at Keeneland. Very good effort. It's well documented. I believe I've mentioned in previous videos, Maud that won this race, wheeled back and ran 2nd to the males in the Breeders' Cup Turf Mile last November. So that's tough enough for me. Trainer Graham Motion hits at 29% clip with jockey Johnny Velasquez over the last couple of years when racing at Gulfstream Park. So this horse technically does not have any starts at Gulfstream, but that combo is formidable. And the addition of, surprisingly, to the Todd Pletcher barn makes her an interesting 12 horse to finish off the field here. It does increase her chances of competing in this race. I'm not so much sure on the AE entry here. Be My Sunshine probably would not include her if she drew in. But looking down here at the track bias, we do have a lot more races to look at, 26 of them going 8.5 furlongs. And you can see the early pressing speed is definitely the one you want to look at, 42% clip. This is the recent races over the last week, 10 of them. Same thing, 40% clip. So the early pressing style leads me to believe I got horses like Queen Goddess. I like Didia. I think she's a multifaceted horse, like I said. So that's just kind of a look at your past performances. And we'll finish it up with this. This race is wide open, I believe, for several contenders. I have Didia for the win. She's the real class, in my opinion. I failed to list Star Fortress. Not that I don't like her, but I think she needs to show me at this level. Ruby Nell has the early speed along with Queen Goddess. Fluffy Socks can close. Mission of Joy appears to be sitting on a bigger effort as well. So something like 9 with 6, 7, 8, 10, and then 6, 7, 8, 10 with 9. So I'm flip flopping 9 to run 1 or 2 with the other 4 horses in exacta. And that's kind of how I see it. I wish you the very best of luck this weekend if you are betting. Thank you for saddling up with me today, and we'll see you soon.